death of a close person in your family. That's a huge stress. The second is divorce. Major, major stress in terms of how people have to cope with it. And the third is relocation, whether it's relocating to another home, relocating to another province, relocating to another country. It's described that relocation is equivalent to either death or divorce in its stress.
Wow.
It's so big. Right? And it's why many people don't cope when they go to another country. It takes them about 4 to 5 years to settle in and adapt. So a lot of this is about how equipped is the mind to deal with a world that is constantly changing.
Yes.
It's a constant change that makes it very unsettling for people. And you know, a lot of what the changes could be depends on that individual's situation in life. You know, whether it is coming from relationship, work stress, being overwhelmed, financial stress, any number of these things. Often there's a combination of these things that's driving the stress.
So how you adapt makes the biggest decision of how you can handle that situation.
That's correct. So getting a clarified version. So for example, I'll give you a simple process. When we deal with a stressed patient, the first thing we do is we take a history, and then that person rambles on, you know, about a few things. And you give them a piece of paper and you say, right, write down 8 or 10 things that you think are stressing you out. And they write, just write it down. And then we say, right, now organize this thing in a hierarchy. Which is the biggest one? Put it as number 1. Which is your second biggest one? And by the time they all reorganize that, they realize that maybe only the first 2 things are seriously stressful. The rest is all imagination.
How interesting is that?
Yeah.
Wow.
So when you clarify, the concept is called clarifying. When you clarify things in your life by writing it down, it's almost like you're sorting out and sifting in your mind as to, well, is this really a stress? Or is it my perception that it might be a stress?
I've always heard motivational speakers talk about, you know, if you're going through a bad time in your life right now, write down the pros and cons in your life. What's good and what's bad in your life. And most of the time you'll find that there's so much of good in your life that the bad is just you're just imagining it. It's all just parts of your imagination, and that's what's stopping you from going forward.
Yeah, in fact, one of the most profound anti-stress techniques you could use is to practice the attitude of gratitude. Start recalling things that you have that you should be grateful for.
Yes.
You have food, you have a home over your head, you have water, electricity, you've got comfort. And then as you start to express gratitude, and you know, this art of practicing gratitude must become a continuous thing throughout the day. Then you begin to see the perspective that, you know, this is all not bad. Sometimes, you know, it's like dramatic stuff. You in an accident, you sudden illness, those are very big dramatic stresses. But by and large, even when you're going through that kind of stress, you can very rapidly neutralize much of it by just practicing gratitude. Because many of us have a lot to be grateful for relative to other people in the world.
That's so true.
And if you start to recognize that, then the stresses start to minimize. They don't become so overwhelming.
Right, so 24 minutes after 7 on Walk the Talk. It's Steve's in for Alan Khan, and we've got the doctor in studio, Dr. Rajen Cooppan. We're talking stress. We're going to come back with a couple of your comments as well on the WhatsApp line. Stay locked on. We're back after this.